Hey everybody, Albert Smart here. I have been a professional tattoo artist for about 15 years, and I've been tattooing for a total of 23 years. Love what I do. I've been doing art for a majority of my life, bouncing back and forth from music to painting and now tattooing. Of course, I still do plenty of painting, but today I wanted to jump in here and I just wanted to have a little bit of a conversation with all you aspiring tattooers out there. Uh, it can be a little bit daunting and it could definitely cause quite a bit of anxiety when you're thinking about how you want to go about approaching getting into the tattoo industry. I started really young. Got my first tattoo when I was 13 out of a basement. Definitely do not recommend that. Especially when you get a tattoo of a cross and then you go home and you're like, I'm not that religious. So that was not a great idea. So don't do that, folks. Don't get tattooed in basements. There's professionals out there. When I was younger, eventually, after years of spending my time in art classes and high school and going to school after a couple different colleges for art and music, I eventually realized that tattooing would be a really fun career, interesting career, opportunity to see places, meet people, and do some art. Now, I've always really enjoyed helping people in general. In When I was in high school, I was part of a peer leaders club, so I was always getting called to help students and try to give them different perspectives on their problems, and it just made me feel good to do good in some way. And when I started in the tattoo industry, it was a little bit sketchy back then. It didn't have a lot of love on its definitely not on the outer shell, but even on the inner shell, there was a lot of competition. It wasn't an easy place to make tons of friends, and not everyone was very inviting. So, obviously I talked to tattoo artists when I was getting tattooed, and there were some amazing artists that gave me some great advice. But for the most part, I was just a little confused on where to start, where to go. Um, what do tattoo shops look for when they are hiring tattoo artists? How do you become an apprentice? Um, what do I need to become an apprentice? Am I good enough to even start an apprenticeship? And those are all very valid questions. I'm sure they go through all of your heads. Um, and I want you to know that you're always going to be on a path to get better. There's no better time to start getting better than right now. And doing that is as simple as picking up a pencil and paper and just drawing. Uh, you're typically going to want a good portfolio in order to get an apprenticeship. And a portfolio comes in a lot of different mediums, shapes, and sizes. I've seen digital artwork. I've seen people come in with color pencil drawings, all kinds of fine art, from painting to sketching to pastels, and there really is no wrong medium to add to your portfolio, but you definitely want a good section of it to be sketches and concept designs for the style that you would like to move toward when you're actually getting into tattooing. You want your portfolio to represent you as an artist. It's kind of like you handing somebody your artistic ID. This is who I am. This is the styles I enjoy. This is the direction I would like to go in. And that's kind of the base thought when you're putting your portfolio together. I think that once you have a nice portfolio, and it's okay to email artists. I don't know why people are so afraid to reach out to artists. Even when I was younger, I reached out to artists. When I was getting my apprenticeship, which I'll talk about shortly, I just was randomly reaching out to artists, and sure, I got crapped on a lot. Got some really rude comments back, but there were also some that gave me some really insightful advice. But you're never going to get anything from anybody if you don't just try. So I highly recommend you reaching out to artists for advice. That being said, feel free to reach out to me for some advice. I have an Instagram and a Facebook. You could usually find me by looking up Albert Smart Inc. That's INK, not INC. And I'm very passionate in helping people. So feel free to reach out. But back to the show. So my first apprenticeship was at a tattoo studio in Bensonville, Illinois, which I really did not enjoy. It was called Get Joe Tattoo. And I won't say anything about the people that were there or anything, but let's just say it was not the picture perfect start to a tattoo career. And I was definitely taken advantage of. I got all the apprentice money that I paid the studio was stolen. And long story short, I paid a gentleman to teach me to tattoo. He agreed. I started going in to the studio every day, working and doing our thing. And I would say I paid him half. I think it was like at the time like $3,000. I saved up for years for some money, and also took out a loan. But after 6 months, the other $3,000 was due. So I went and paid the artist $3,000. And a couple days later, I walked into the tattoo shop. Hey, how's it going, guys? No one was there. It was a empty studio. And then I turned around the corner to the front desk because I came through the side door. And there was a man sitting there, and I said, "Can I help you?" And he said, "Can I help you?" And I went, No. Can I help you? I work here. And he went, "Well, I own the place." And I've never seen this guy in my life. Never in my life have I seen this man's face. Been there for 6 months now. Don't know who the hell he is. So what ended up happening was, at the time, that man's wife was undergoing some cancer treatment in a different state. So he was out of town, and he had a friend of a friend who was a tattooer coming and watching the shop for him. And that guy dipped out as soon as he came back. And I obviously didn't have any place to go after that, but he took off, and that was kind of the end of my apprenticeship. He didn't know where to get a hold of this guy, and if he did, he wasn't about to tell me. I was pretty bummed out. I think I was 19 at the time, which is, young to be putting yourself out there to tattoo, but I had a small apartment. I had rent to pay. I was working a side job, so I had that, but I was pretty bummed out. Uh, I thought I took a really big step forward, and then 6 months later, turns out I got totally screwed out of my apprenticeship and out of my apprenticeship money. So then that was that. I had to figure things out. So hopefully, just hearing that story, a little advice I have for you is do your research, find the appropriate shop for the apprenticeship. First of all, most shops that'll take an apprenticeship will tell people that they're looking for an apprentice or that they offer apprenticeships. Those are typically the shops that you want to look at, but just because they do apprenticeships doesn't mean they do it correctly. So do your research, look up the shop that does the apprenticeships, look up what artist is handling the apprenticeship. I would encourage you to ask for things such as, do you have a copy of your apprenticeship syllabus that I could look at? Just so you know that this artist that you're choosing to take you under their wing to show you a path to a new career and a new lifestyle is doing it because they're also passionate about it. And passionate people take care of their passions. So any artist that's really into helping other artists is going to have some sort of syllabus, some sort of guidelines that they follow when they are teaching their apprentice. So I would definitely ask for that. Make sure you're looking at their artwork and their tattoos. Are their tattoos up to a standard, artistically and health-wise, that you even want to engage with? If you find an artist that offers an apprenticeship, but his work is garbage, he's only going to teach you how to duplicate that garbage. It's important to surround yourself with people who are pushing their limits to get better, because those are the type of people that are also going to get you to push your limits. And you're never going to go backwards if you're consistently surrounding yourself with better people. And I mean better art, better personalities, better morals. That's the kind of person you want to teach you about tattooing. So pay attention to who you're reaching out to for your apprenticeship. So now you have your portfolio. When you're working on your portfolio, one little tip I wanted to give you is find some tattoo artists that you really enjoy, like their work inspires you. Then draw, and don't rip off people's work, but base your style and maybe even some of your subject matter off of what you see, what's inspiring you about their work. If they do really creepy stuff and you really dig it, sorry guys if audio got weird there, my 110-pound dog almost ripped me off my feet, but I'm okay. Anyways, if your artwork leans on the creepier side, find some artists that do some really cool creepy stuff. Get some inspiration. Like I said, don't steal their artwork, guys. There's no room in self-growth for ripping people off. You want it to be difficult. You want to draw things and learn from them. You don't need everything to be perfect. You want to take steps to getting better. So that little tip is really helpful. Jump online, find some inspiration, and gear your portfolio in that direction. It helps a lot. Every tattoo artist out there has their inspirations and the artists that they grew up going, oh my God, That artist is amazing. I'll give you a couple of mine. I grew up in Chicago, Illinois, and one of my favorite artists of all time, I was lucky enough to be in the city where he was tattooing and working. His name was Tim Biedron. He is no longer tattooing in Chicago. I forget where he is now. I know the tattoo studio, I believe, is called Meadowlark. Might be in Oregon. I should know that. But fantastic artist. His work was super sick. So inspiring. So much flow. I didn't rip off his work, but I definitely looked at his stuff and was inspired by the things he drew. So when I would draw, I would think to myself, what would Tim Biedron draw? How would he go about this? And then I would do it really, really badly, and it would suck, but I would do it. And now 23 years later, tattooing, I think I've developed a completely different style, nothing like his at all. And that's just going to happen naturally. Unless you're completely ripping somebody off, you're going to develop your own style, whether you like it or not. It just takes time. So when you're working on your portfolio, that's my best advice for you. I would say find 2-3 artists that are really inspire you and try to come up with a style of your own based off of what you find inspiring. So now we have our portfolio. You have done some research and you're reaching out to shops. You're looking at the artist's work. You're looking at or messaging them, asking them about their syllabus, telling them a little bit about yourself. An artist that is going to take the time out to really teach you about tattooing and their craft wants to know that you're in it for the long haul, because it's a lot of work and dedication on the tattoo artist's side to dedicate his time and his knowledge to teach you and get you on the right track to not only learning how to tattoo, but learning about the industry of tattooing, learning about client to artist relationships, learning about how tattooers handle their finances, how tattooers deal with their taxes, how tattooers deal with the health department, how tattooers deal with overstimulation, and how tattooers deal with anxiety in tattooing. I mean, the list goes on and on. Tattooing is so much more than just stabbing people with ink and making it stick. There's an art to the craft, and there's an art to people and business. And you want to find out who you want to be in the future and get a nice blueprint on how to get there. And finding the right artist to mentor you is going to be infallible. And it's I don't remember what that word was right now. It's important for you to find the right artist to mentor you. So make sure you do your research. Make sure that you put your time into your portfolio. Make sure that you are okay with sucking. You're gonna suck for a while. Nobody picks up a pencil and just draws amazing stuff. You know, you gotta suck and you gotta get through the suck to really enjoy or to really get to a place where you're super proud of your work. But I tell you what, that is the joy of art. It's the journey. And I'm sure you've heard that in a lot of different things by sports players and musicians and authors. The journey is the work. So put in the work. Draw until you run out of pencil. And then get another pencil and draw again. Fill up sketchbooks. Have 5x7 sketchbooks. Put all kinds of stuff in there. Roses, skulls, dragons, scales on koi fish. Learn how to draw good backgrounds. Backgrounds are super important, and I don't think enough people do them very, very well. So, try something new. Get a sketchbook that's specifically for trying new things. Those are the kinds of things you want to do to build up your, not only your portfolio, because you'll come up with some pretty cool ideas, but you also want to work on your skill. And skills are learned through repetition and not giving up. And that's also what's going to get you to find the right apprenticeship and to eventually find the right artists, or I mean the right clients, and find the right studio to work at. And all of it starts with being consistent, having faith in yourself, surrounding yourself with people who have faith in you, and just continuously pushing forward. It doesn't always have to be scary. I know it is, and I know that anxiety could definitely ramp up, and we care about our art. Art is a very personal thing. So of course we take it to heart when somebody doesn't like our stuff, or if we're being criticized, or if we're criticizing ourselves. It's hard to push forward, but you just have to find that inspiration out there through other artists and other art, and just continue to truck forward. Build your portfolio, find the right artist to mentor you. Sometimes you're not going to get the apprenticeship that you really wanted, and you're going to have to check somewhere else. And you're going to have to check out other shops. There's a lot of artists that do it, but not nearly enough serious ones. So I do, be careful out there. Watch yourselves. Don't give your information to anybody that you don't really know, and you just got to be careful, and always look out for your best interests. And once you get the portfolio where you want it, and get some advice on it. Back to when I said emailing. Sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second there. When you email some artists your work, get some advice. I do that for people all the time. Hey, I want to be a tattoo artist. Here's my work. What do you think of it? Can you point me in the right direction? I do that for people all the time. It's so helpful, and it makes me feel good because I want people to succeed. Of course I want people to succeed. That is the joy of life, is caring for one another and pushing each other forward. So of course I try my best to help people out, and there's other people out there doing it. So keep your eyes open. Don't hesitate to ask questions, and keep drawing, keep going forward. Don't shut yourself out, and don't give up. It's not going to happen overnight. All things are a marathon. Nothing happens overnight. So you just have to take it one step at a time and keep pushing forward, and eventually you will find yourself in a good position. So that's all I got for you today. I really appreciate you listening. Of course, feel free to like and subscribe, because I'm going to be posting all kinds of tutorials and art and all kinds of things. And I'm especially going to be doing more of these talks because I feel like they're very helpful. I feel like it's nice to have something to listen to too, if you're drawing or driving or doing chores or something. And I listen to a lot of stuff. I find it very valuable. So hopefully you found this valuable. And I look forward to you chiming in, leaving a comment, or reaching out if I could ever help with anything at all. Have an awesome evening, and thanks so much for coming.